Forza games nowadays look incredibly realistic, and because of this, people assume the franchise is getting better and better. And you know, the new games are pretty good, but the old games, oh my days, the old games were goated. And today, I'll be going through why exactly that is, so 4,000 likes is the target, so come on, give it a little bit of affection. Okay, you can stop showing it affection now, it's getting a bit weird. And yeah man, without further ado, let's get to this video. Once upon a time in Forza games, you would get incredibly exciting cars in car packs. I mean, just look at how cool these cars are, and then guess what? In the following game, you would get those cars for free. What? I know, it's included in the standard car list. And yeah man, this is brilliant. But nowadays, if you get a new car in a car pack, then most likely in the next game, they would hide the car away so that you could win it through the festival playlist. And yeah, I just feel like that's very scammy behavior. I mean, new players would look at these cars and be like, oh my god, this is so exciting, but old players and these OG players would be like, hang on a second, this was in the last game. And also, Forza devs like to do a thing where they bring back cars from the really old Forza games and then pretend like they're new cars. And they'll do this by saying that the car is new to Horizon, and then everybody's like, whoa, it's a new to Forza car. But in reality, these cars were seen in games like Motorsport 4 and Motorsport 3, Motorsport 2, like, you know, like one of the older games which the new players don't even know exist. So yeah, that's something I definitely had to talk about, because back in the day, yeah, recycling cars was a thing back in the day, to be honest, but it was nowhere near to the extent of it is now, because nowadays everything is just recycled. It's like they're sticking to Greta Thunberg or something. Like, I don't know, what are you doing, man? Something nobody really talks about is the time intervals between Forza games now compared to back in the day. For example, Forza Horizon 3 came out on the 27th of September 2016, then 3 months later we got the Blizzard Mountain expansion. And then 5 months after that we got the Hot Wheels expansion, then 5 months after that we got the new Forza Motorsport game, which was Motorsport 7, and then the following year we got the next Horizon game. So we got all this content in the space of 2 years. And then after that, the time intervals got pretty bad. I mean, Forza Horizon 4 came out in the 2nd of October 2018, then 2 months later we got Fortune Island, then 6 months after that we got the LEGO expansion, and then 2.5 years later we got the next Horizon game. Yep, this is all in the span of over 3 years, and we didn't even get a Motorsport game in the middle. And if you compare that to Horizon games now, well, Horizon 5 came out on the 5th of November, then 8 months after that we got our first expansion. Then 6 years after the first expansion we got the second expansion, and then another 6 months later we got the next Motorsport game, and we're still yet to see Horizon 6 or any signs of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't see Horizon 6 coming out this year, so yeah, I feel like we're gonna be waiting quite a while. Nowadays, Forza is seen as the casuals racing game, but back in the day, it actually used to be for car guys. And the developers knew this, and they wanted to really impress the car guys, and impress us they did, because what they did in the old games was incredible. I mean, in Motorsport 4, we actually got Jeremy Clarkson to narrate certain cars in the game. Yep, because with the Auto Vista feature, which is now known as Forza Vista, Jeremy Clarkson actually used to tell us facts about each car. And you know, this was an incredible addition to the game, and we also got things like the Top Gear studio for us to take pictures in. We of course got the Top Gear test track, and we also got some reasonably priced cars as well, which is amazing. I mean, anybody who watched Top Gear back in the day, their ultimate goal was to drive that reasonably priced car and make it to the top of the leaderboard. And it was so cool that you could do this in the game, man. It was like a car guy's heaven. Also in Motorsport 5, we saw the addition of Richard and James alongside Jeremy to narrate certain car classes. And this was so cool, man. We literally got the Top Gear trio in Forza, which was amazing. Anyways, Forza Vista narrations carried on through to Horizon 3 and Motorsport 6, but with different voices. But ever since then, that feature's completely gone, and the focus towards cars has been slowly fading away as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, in new Forza games you do get incredible addition which really satisfies car guys, but it feels like the focus is more towards casuals than it is towards car guys. And you can really tell how this game nowadays is made for non-car guys rather than it is for car guys, so yeah. general, the customization in new Forza games is better than the customization in old Forza games, but there are some customization elements which old Forza games just did so much better. For example, in old Forza games, the wheels were sorted into the manufacturers that they come from, but nowadays the wheels in Forza are put into these different categories which don't make any sense. We have sport rim style, you have multi-piece rim style, and you have specialized rim style. I mean, to this day, I still struggle to find certain wheels in the game because I just don't know what category they're in. So yeah, I honestly don't know why Forza got rid of this incredible system because, honestly, what was actually wrong with this? They had no reason to change this, and another thing they had no reason to change was the Forza Aero. Because back in the day, yeah, Forza Aero was actually tasteful, but nowadays, well, nowadays it looks like this. Yeah, we got the eBay special here on the 350Z, and it just makes the car look really ricey, and I don't like ricey. I like me some nicey. Oh, and also, if you remove weight from your car, then weight actually comes out of your car. What? I know! This is amazing! But apart from those two issues, the customization in new Forza games is definitely better. Now, the car selection in old Forza games was just incredible. It was unmatched. For example, we saw so many ordinary cars like the Citroen C1, the Chevrolet Volt, the Ford Ka, the Vauxhall Agila, the Acura TSX, the Chevrolet Spark, the Peugeot 107, the Ford Taurus, the Lexus CT200H, and the standard TT. Yep, nowadays we have the TTS and the TTRS, but this was a standard TT, like yo, our TT. Anyways, we also saw JDM legends like the Toyota Altezza and yeah, just the Altezza. God, we need the Altezza. And we also saw quirky cars like the Devon GTX. Yep, I never heard of that, but I have heard of the Aston Martin Signet. Hey, Signet. Also the Bertone Mantide, what a weird name, and the Spada Corda Tronca. What a weird name. And we even saw special edition cars like the Verside Supra, the Top Secret Supra, the Top Secret S15, and so many special edition cars which we don't get in new Forza games. Anyways, the reason why the list was so good back in the day is not only because the devs chose good cars, but back in the day during the noughties and the early 2010s, the cars that used to come out were incredible. In my opinion, it was like the best era of cars. And when cool cars come out, they'd like to add those cars into video games, and yeah, we got so many of these incredible cars. But nowadays, we live in the time of SUVs and stupid crossovers, so a lot of the cars we're getting in these games are so boring. Like this Lincoln Co. 05 Plus, which is a very strange car. And we're also getting so many EVs, like, don't get me wrong, some EVs are pretty cool, and okay, calm down, okay, some of them are pretty cool, but we're getting so many boring ones, which nobody cares about, and I'm like, what are you doing? Don't get me wrong, these ones are funny, but the other ones, man, like, what is this? So yeah, man, the car variation in old Forza games, in my opinion, was so much better. Kinect came out in late 2010 and Microsoft decided to implement it into many Xbox 360 games, including mainstream racing games like Forza Motorsport 4. Yep, Forza actually had Kinect support, and the way it was implemented was seriously cool. There was head tracking, so if you look left, then your driver looks left, and if you look right, then your driver looks right. And it was the same for up and down, which is a really impractical, pointless feature, but it was really cool. You could also steer with your hands, where you just reach out and pretend you're holding a steering wheel, and you could actually steer your car. Also, the head tracking in the Auto Vista was really cool, so you can literally just walk around your car by walking around your Xbox, and it was so cool. There were also voice commands, which were very cool as well, and it was just very cool. I probably said cool a lot of times there. But with the following Forza games, the Kinect integration was randomly removed and nobody knew why. It was probably because nobody really used the feature, but come on, it was a really cool feature while it lasted. Damage model in old Forza games, especially the Xbox 360 games, was incredible. It wasn't like BeamNG level good, but it was so much better than what we have in current Forza games, which isn't really hard to beat, but the damage model was amazing. The way the bumpers disform and come off the car, the way the glass shatters, parts of your trim fly off your car was incredible, man. It was amazing. It was so satisfying. I remember going around my cousin's house for Christmas and stuff, and they used to have an Xbox 360, And I used to play Forza Motorsport 3 heavy, man. I used to play it heavy. As I remember driving the Chevrolet Monte Carlo stock car the wrong way around the Sunset Peninsula racetrack, just to crash into the driver tires and see the damage, man. I looked at the damage and I was like, wow, that is very impressive. Honestly, it's so crazy seeing what an incredible damage model could do to a racing game because it just makes crashing so satisfying. Okay, yes, it's not Forza's fault why the damage model nowadays is so bad, but it is something that old Forza games used to do so much better.